I could have spit water out my mouth reading this. I wasn't ready for the hooves.
There's so many times I've felt that way reading books where I'm like, I want to look at that camera, the hidden camera that's filming me, and be like, are you serious right now? This is what's happening?
This is what's happening.
I don't know, you guys. I think this might be the book that breaks me. Welcome to Say Smut, a literary podcast for readers and non-readers.
That's Sarah, and she loves books.
And that's Hope, and she loves talking. Each episode, I break down the plots of some pretty wild books to Hope, who has not read them. Record scratch.
Except this time I have!
This time, Hope is gonna deliver.
I read a book. So
we decided to switch roles, do a little role reversal. And
a little role play.
And she read the book and I did the research.
That is right, friends. So buckle the fuck up. Or should I say settle up? Because this time I, Hope, read the book. What book? Thank you so much for asking. So Sarah gave me a really amazing list of recommendations for me to choose from. And I, a sensical person, selected the one that I found most outrageous based on the title. And it was very hard. And there were so many good options. But I hope that you will join me for a trot through Tate McKirk's Broodmaiden of the Unicorn, an erotic first-time fantasy.
I am so excited. I did put together this list. I thought you were going to gravitate towards Sheriff Bear. And that is exactly what it sounds like. But I am equally as excited for Unicorn Smut.
Yes. And I want you to know that this morning while I was waiting for us to record the podcast, I did also download Sheriff Bear and what's the other one? I downloaded 2 books. That's right. I read now.
I know. I was about to say Unprovoked.
Oh, and Muscles and Monsters.
Okay, Muscles and Monsters is a series. And then there's one that's Minotaurs. I think this is the title. Minotaurs and Mantras.
Yes. Yes, I did see. So anyway, this has had incredible effect on me. I promise not to drop the ball. I have pulled up research about the ratings and about the author. So this book does have ratings, and I looked them up on Goodreads. It has a 3.42 out of 5 stars. It does not really have a rating on Storygraph, but it did have a 3.5 out of 5 stars on Amazon, if you were wondering.
That's pretty good. I have for romance, I have a threshold of 3.5 for ratings. So
nice.
I'm very excited for this.
Sweet. We are more or less in there like swimwear. I would love to tell you about the author. So I just calling her Tate, and also I kind of been using they pronouns only because nowhere is it specified, and I'm like, better to be safe than sorry. Yeah. But IDK. Anyway, so Tate's been writing forever, and they found their passion for writing after attending a young authors conference for fantasy stories in kindergarten, which is incredible because I wasn't writing any stories in kindergarten. I don't know about you.
I definitely had those one sentence, per page that our teacher told us to write, right?
Amazing. Well, her Tates were so good that they brought them into a writing conference at a young age, which is awesome. I pulled a fun quote, which is, quote, "Still, I could never have known at that young age that my true calling was erotic fiction. I love all the things that go bump in the night, literally and figuratively, vampires, werewolves, and monsters. I still cling to my roots and adore fantasy creatures of all times," which we love.
That is a great quote. That's a great summary of somebody's passions.
Yes. And then finally, I just want to add that Tate has written tons of books with wild and crazy titles, and I'm hesitant to share all of them because what if we want to cover them in the future? But I do have to share one because it's the season, and it's called Stuffed by the Were Turkey. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, I have heard it. This one is circling book talk right now because so many people have found it. Yes.
It doesn't need to be Thanksgiving for us to do that book since we're kind of not in the time for it, but it might. Maybe down the road, maybe in a couple of years around turkey time, we'll
pull it out when you least expect it.
You will. I will do a couple content warnings before we start getting into the book. What you think will happen in the book absolutely happens in the book. So we're getting intimate with a unicorn. There will be sexual content. There will be a unicorn present. Additionally, I feel compelled to call out that while our main character is a legal adult, they are a brand new legal adult who has not yet graduated high school. So I won't linger on the age, but if that's not your cup of tea or coffee in my case, subscribe and we'll see you later. I had to kind of steel myself for that information.
That's good context. We were talking about this at a book club I was at this week, where it's like everything has degrees to it, right? So it's like, okay, they're a legal adult, but they literally just turned to a legal adult.
Yeah.
And like that threshold is a little awkward. Or like, hey, you know, if there's mentions of self-harm or anything like that, you're kind of like, okay, you know, is it just a brief sentence? Do we go in depth into the, you know, character's mind who's struggling with it? So it's kind of like, how do you deal with those types of trigger warnings? So we always try and do our best of explaining the capacity of it.
And this is a first time fantasy, and take that literally. It is literally, spoiler alert, going to be the character's first time. Anyway, before we get started, know that we're going to be on a little bit of a slow burn until we hit Sarah's research, because Sarah is doing research, but know that I think the point of entry for her research will be worth the wait. Are you ready to join the brood?
I am ready to join. I'm so glad that I get to answer that for once.
So fun. So we open on the Whispering Eye, and that's the letter I, not like your eyeball, the Whispering Eye Ranch, boarding, business, and sometimes riding lessons ranch. Nice. Where Jennifer, you know, two in one business.
Riding lessons.
Sometimes riding lessons, mostly horse boarding business. Okay. Jennifer is getting ready to welcome her mom, Caroline, home. Her mom is coming back to the ranch after going on a trip and buying a new horse, which is thrilling. Important to note that as she is running out to meet her mom, it is called out that her breasts are jiggling up and down relentlessly. We love a no bra, no problem queen. And it is also hilarious that these tatas are positively relentless in jiggle.
I expect nothing less, but also sounds painful.
Unceasing jiggling as we were running out to visit mom. Right away, we get kind of a lowdown on what Jennifer's life is all about. So I don't know. It didn't specify how long her mom was away, but her birthday occurred while her mom was away. So she turned 18 while her mom was out on the trip. And she's very excited to see her mom because her mom had her at 16 and they're more like best friends than like mom and daughter relationship. They're very close. Okay. We learned that Jennifer has a friend named Kelly, who I'm going to refer to exclusively as that bitch Kelly, because the vibe that you get is that she and Kelly haven't been hanging out a ton ever since Kelly got her driver's license. And also that Jennifer is kind of fine with that because she doesn't mind because she has horses that she can hang out with instead. So Kelly comes up a lot of different times, but also just kind of seems like we're at a very neutral attitude about Kelly's general existence. Yeah. We also find out that graduation is coming up, and while all of Jennifer's classmates are super pumped to go to college, Jennifer is anxious to be an adult. She likes where she lives, and she has blonde hair, and she likes helping her mom on the ranch. This is all the order in which we're presented this information. Plus, quote, how would she spend her time if she wasn't riding and taking care of horses?
Yeah, crazy. No other hobbies necessary.
No other hobbies, but being blonde and hanging out with horses. We do find out later that she has butt length hair specifically and that her eyes are green, but we don't otherwise get a ton by way of Jennifer's description.
Look, I don't want to be judgmental or like, you know, rush to conclusions, but if I were to say I'm reading unicorn smut, I absolutely believe that the love interest has butt length blonde hair.
Butt length hair. At least butt length hair. Color, whatever for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so mom has rolled up with a horse, but not just any horse, a boy horse. And that's a big deal. So her mom is like, wait till you see him, Jenny. He's a real treat. Went to look at a pair of geldings and settled on this bad boy instead. And Jenny is very surprised because Whispering Eye doesn't breed horses, she says, so they don't normally have stallions at the ranch. And apparently stallions can become too high-strung and dominant. So this boy horse must be super special for her mom to have decided to bring it to the ranch because They don't even bother with male horses because of them not wanting to deal with their attitude since they're not breeding.
Yeah, like hashtag women only.
No boys allowed except for this boy. And here's why, because this horse is so fucking hot.
Hot? I thought you were gonna say hung, and I was gonna be like, oh,
that too, but we'll find out about that later. So this, I know that I'm using horse with like verbal air quotes for the time being. So we get a description of this horse who will not have a name for quite some time, which is why I can only call it the horse. So the horse has lovely silvery blue eyes that be casted a fog over Jennifer. She sees his eyes through the trailer, and she's like, holy shit, I must know more about this horse. She says, quote, I must see this horse in its entirety. The horse is tall and willowy like every dude I have ever dated, and also has a very beautiful coat and soft human-like hair for a mane instead of thick and coarse hair.
Okay.
Yes, okay. She says, quote, she clucked her tongue. I don't know if clucked is the right word, but that is what it says. She clucked her tongue, coaxing him out, and nearly gasped when he deftly made his way from the trailer. The stallion was tall and willowy, his coat white, even though it seemed to shimmer silver in the sunlight. And also, she said, in an instant, she knew she had to ride him. So we're already a little...
Okay, yep. Got it.
Yep, we're all on the same page. So this is a beautiful horse. Her mom is like, I got this horse. Look how great he is. We could use him for riding lessons if you want to. But when I bought it, I told the owner that this horse would be great for an adult rider. And I happen to know one. It's you, my daughter. You just turned 18. Happy birthday. It's your horse.
Oh, that's quite the present.
Yes. So I felt in the tone, like nowhere does it say the mom also thinks this horse is hot. But it just kind of felt like in vibe, the mom was like, look at this hot fucking horse. My daughter would love this hot horse.
It reminds me of when we were doing the pumpkin spice latte and like people were just generically talking about how hot, like how sexual these drinks were. And it was just a normal thing to talk about.
Yeah. She's like, I had to get this bad boy instead of all the stupid lady horses I saw. He's just so hot. I had to have him. So horny horse riding is about to happen, and we can't say that I didn't warn you.
Okay. All right.
So Jennifer's mom's like, I'm gonna go home. I gotta take a bath. I've had a long trip. Get to know your beautiful man horse. And Jennifer's like, yes. So at first it's all very normal, and Jennifer's like ready to pet this horse, and she offers her hand to the horse so that he can sniff her, which is great. And he starts doing that little like snuffly thing that horses do with their nose mouth region, and that's all fine. And then he sort of goes from sniffing her hand to sniffing her a little more all over, and then it, quote, became strange when the horse started snuffling the, quote, apex of her thighs.
You know, I knew when we were going into this that it's a unicorn. I knew that, but then I didn't really think of the bestiality of it all.
Yeah.
And now I'm in it. I'm kind of want to gag, throw up, but I'm here. This
is gonna go places none of us expected, and I can't wait to share more. So Jennifer is like, quote, you gonna let me ride you, big boy? Which is a bummer because that's a quote. And then the horse is like, oh, hell yeah, which is not a direct quote, but probably what the horse seemed to say. And again, this horse does not have a name at this point, but she's like, you gonna let me ride you? And this horse like gives her a knowing look and immediately understands that Jennifer wants to take him for a ride. So he's like, come on up here. He bends over so that she could climb on top of him. Like she doesn't even need a saddle. He's like, I've got this, don't worry. And he starts running and he's picking paths and he's not even tired. He's just going so fast. And Jennifer's like, this is incredible. And then also she's like, I'm starting to get horny due to the fact that there's some friction happening between this horse's back and, quote, her cleft, which is what they described it as.
Cleft.
Her cleft.
Pause. With that type of logic, wouldn't you be getting horny every single time you rode a horse? If that's like the only thing procuring a reaction.
I don't ride horses enough to know whether it does or doesn't make you horny. And that's, I guess, all I can really say about that. But especially going horseback on this super hot, beautiful eyed, shiny coated horse is really working for us. She's like leaning into it. She's having shivers of arousal. She's almost to orgasm, but then we are interrupted, and you'll never guess why. But I'll let you guess once.
Wait, what's our setting? What's our setting?
Just riding around in wherever this horse feels like riding around.
Is it outdoors? Is it
outdoors?
In a reading? Okay.
No, we are outdoors. He's just picking pats in the woods. We get interrupted as she's about to hump this horse too.
I'm going to be honest. I am still under the mentality of Sheriff Bear, so I want to believe it's a bear. I will also guess, just out of the heart of hearts, that there's another horse.
I like your beautiful creativity. What actually happened is that bitch Kelly called her, and she's so annoyed. Yeah, she's like, and then my phone starts ringing, and it's Kelly, and she probably wants to hang out with me for my birthday. So we're just gonna head back to the ranch. Sans orgasm.
Oh my gosh!
She's like,
look, I thought we were gonna come across something in the woods.
No.
Okay.
That bitch Kelly just comes in and calls, and then this bitch Kelly keeps her on the phone for hours, and then after hours. So like, hard stop. We put the horse in the barn. Kelly just won't shut up. We're talking for hours, and then her mom is like, "We got to go to your birthday dinner." And so I am not sure if these are belated birthday shenanigans or if like this day is her 18th birthday. It's not really clear, but basically what is happening here, she's like, "I sure would love to keep exploring this really hot horse, but everybody just keeps asking me to do other stuff instead."
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So we're a little sexually frustrated. Jenny is like, normally I would love all this extra attention, but I'm just so horny about my new horse that I'm starting to get frustrated. And I'm going to read what is a long quote because I think it's worth it. She says, quote, "No matter what, she couldn't stop thinking about the ride earlier, what she might have done if Kelly hadn't called. It sounded sick, but to her, the thought of getting aroused from the ride earlier didn't feel all that strange. It didn't feel like the stallion was just a common horse, more like, ellipses. She snorted. That was crazy. He was an actual horse, not a person or a mythical creature, no matter what her crazy brain tried to tell her."
I'm gonna look.
We're introducing seeds of doubt. Maybe this isn't just any old horse. Maybe it's hot and horny for a reason.
I'm gonna ask this once, and then we can move on. I don't want to ruin anything. Is this a shifter romance?
It's I wouldn't say that. It's hard to explain, and we're gonna do our best to approach it.
Okay, because it's giving me vibes of like this is a human thing that can shift into a horse.
Truly, you'll just have to wait and see. Not too long from now. I promise we're gonna get.
Here's my follow-up question, because when I sent you the doc to choose from, I did put the page count in all of the stuff.
Yes. Is
it actually 28, 29 pages?
It is a short story. I read it on my phone, so it's kind of hard to tell how many pages it is. It is it was brief. It's not like a million pages long.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go for it.
Yes. So going forth, we're wrapping up all these birthday shenanigans. The whole time Jennifer's been distracted by her hot horse. When she finally gets home, thinking about her hot horse gets her turned on again, but every time she tries to masturbate, she's thinking about this horse instead. And she's thinking about this horse instead of, and this is in the book, Channing Tatum, Adam Levine, or anyone that a normal person would think about.
Look, do we have a year for when this was written?
I believe this came out I think I saw that it came out in 2015.
Okay, so that would have been perfect timing for both of those options.
Yes.
Adam Levine has not aged well. Channing Tatum, I feel like for some reason he gives me a little bit of the ick, but I don't know. I don't think he's done anything.
Apparently all the normal people think of those two when they're jacking off. And what I have to say is, don't yuck your own yum. Just keep it legal.
Yeah.
If a horse is making you horny, I don't know, man. Don't be down on yourself, but maybe don't take action. Hard to say. Anyway, it takes a long time for her to douse this arousal. Her words, not mine. And eventually she falls asleep.
Okay.
Dream sequence.
Oh, no.
We're in the woods. The moonlight is...
Can he come into her dream?
Hey, you let me tell you what happens in this book.
It's only because of the door, okay?
You let me tell you what I know. You let me tell you what happens in this dream sequence. We're in the woods. The moonlight is bright. Owls be hooting. We round a tree and bam, there's a man standing here. His skin is like alabaster, and electric blue veins are evident. He has the same color eyes as the horse and the same white blonde hair. And the book says he has all hard muscle, quote, even the one between his legs.
Oh, gosh.
And this book uses the term uncut cock, to which I say, go off. This man is naked, and he's in the forest.
Wow.
And he looks a lot like this horse.
Okay.
Anyway, so you're welcome. So this man's nude in the forest, and in Jennifer's inner monologue, she's like, he looks like the dudes in my mom's hidden magazines. I am so innocent that Kelly makes fun of me. I don't feel the need to be ruled by base desires. And this is a quote. She says, I ride horses and then lay out in the pasture and take care of myself like a lady, quietly and without a fuss.
So you are masturbating in nature.
Yeah, a couple of things are happening at once. First, we're trying to set a tone that she is a virgin, and this is plot important, kind of. I mean, plot loosey-goosey. This is like a thing to know about what's happening in this story. Okay. So we're sort of setting the scene with being like, I'm so innocent. Even Kelly's like, oh my God, it's embarrassing. You're so innocent. But like, I don't feel like I need to sleep with boys yet. I just go home and I ride horses and then I lay out in the pasture. And when I do need to masturbate, I just take care of myself quietly and without a fuss in a field, which is just like an interesting inner monologue she's having while looking at this nude dude who looks like her horse. Just context. Yeah. Just a little bit of context. So this is what she's thinking. She realizes that she's also naked and she's sweating, but she's like, instead of being shy, standing in front of this guy makes me feel brave. And she is like, who are you? And he is like, soon you will see me, but he doesn't give a name. And basically he's like, you'll be ready for me soon. Don't even worry about it. And she's like, but I'm so horny right now. And he's like, you'll know what you need soon enough, my sweetling. Come and find me, my mare. When you see
mare.
Yeah, when you see me, you will know my name.
Oh,
how you doing?
Oh, this is just like painful because there's so many elements. I feel like we could go in a lot of different directions, and I'm really just hoping it's not just straight bestiality.
It's complicated. So anyway, she's like, this works for me. She's getting hornier and hornier. And then she wakes up to see the cause of her horniness. And it's not just this dream. It is her horse, whose head is sticking through her bedroom window, and his muzzle is all up in her crotch. And quote, she opened her mouth to descend, but realized that she didn't mind at all. It felt right. Then she saw the horn. Sarah, can you hit me with that research and tell me about unicorns?
I absolutely can. Before I do, I'm just picturing this. So her bed must be like really close to the window.
Right next to the window.
And she must be like huddled against the wall that the window is on for this to be
really by it. Also, maybe it has to be on the ground level, or this is the tallest unicorn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And his muzzle to crotch, but then also big unicorn horn now sticking out that wasn't there before, and it's like touching between her bosom, and she's like, "Oh shit, horn!"
Like
it's not just a horse.
Dangerous.
So we know now, not just a horse. Tell us about your research on unicorns.
I got a lot of different sources here. St. Neots Museum, I think that's how you say it. Britannica, our besties over there. American Museum of Natural History. Live Science article called "Where Did the Unicorn Myth Come From?" by Patrick Pester. And then a New York Times article called "The Immortal Myth of Unicorns" by Malika Rao from 2021. I will tell you right now that I did stop there because every single thing was telling me the exact same stories. So unicorns have been around in different forms throughout multiple civilizations. The first evidence of unicorns appeared in ancient Greece, and it's actually not from mythology. It's from a part of writings, a piece of writings called that were essentially natural history writings, as if it's like based on, you know, real animals, plants, stuff like that, during the 4th century BCE. In a book called Indica, or what that translates to is On India, which, by the way, a lot of this roots from India. Like, everybody thinks that like this first writing about animals in India, the author said that they were, quote, wild asses.
True.
Throwing back those wild asses. Going on to say they were, quote, fleet of foot, having a horn of cubit and a half in length. I don't know. A half in length what?
Right?
Half
of what, you guys?
And colored white and red and black. Now historians believe that this is actually just a description of Indian rhinos. So, and like, if you look at the pictures that they were depicted in, especially in that very, very like BCE era, like tablet drawings, they look like just boars, oxes, like that happen to have one horn instead of 2 horns, you know?
This book is so much better for body inclusivity if our unicorn is actually just a rhino.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So in the 13th century, Marco Polo would later say that unicorns, quote, spend their time by preference wallowing in mud and slime. And I've never related to anything more.
Same.
So in the 6th century, a traveling merchant said that I don't know how this traveling merchant became the expert on unicorns. Not 100% sure. Maybe
he's selling those books about unicorns. That's what he's got to just know.
Or he's just cultured. He's seen the world, you know?
Sure.
He said that they're notorious for avoiding capture. He said that if in danger, a unicorn will happily throw itself from a cliff to escape, but it'll land expertly on the point of its horn unharmed, like almost like throwing a spear. And then the horn just gets caught in the ground.
Really interesting way to fall and land.
Yes. And it's unclear how the unicorn would get wedged out of the earth then.
Like throwing a dart into the ground.
Exactly. Literally. So it's even said that there are some versions of unicorns in the Bible, in certain Bible translations. However, people believe this was an error in translating the Hebrew word for ox.
Sure.
But this isn't the only use of unicorns in Christianity. Unicorns represent purity. So a lot of times, especially in medieval artwork, it's used to depict Christ. So for an example, there might be a piece of art where a unicorn has its head placed in the lap of like a young maiden or a virgin, which is like
snuffling that crotch.
Don't. I'm in my research. Anyway, but he's trying to depict Christ's relationship with his Virgin Mother Mary, right? So it's supposed to be talking about purity. Other times, we're going to get into this in a second, but like unicorn horns were for drinking from. And so in artwork, they would have people drinking from unicorn horns to symbolize Christ's sacrifice to cleanse the sins of mankind. So let's talk about those healing properties of the unicorns. So in medieval times, nobility would drink out of unicorn horned cups to keep from being poisoned. But people were like, those likely weren't unicorn horns. They were likely narwhal tusks or rhino horns, which narwhals are the unicorns of the sea. So
true.
Other healing properties include stomach trouble, like helping with stomach trouble, and epilepsy, which poison and stomach trouble, those go together. Epilepsy, I'm not sure how we just put that one under the WebMD.
Feels like an add-on.
Yeah. And then according to another Eastern culture legend, the rare appearance of unicorns, because they're such solitary creatures of like of nature, if a unicorn is seen, it celebrates a just and wise ruler.
Interesting.
Yes. So, belief of unicorns started to wane in the 18th century because people started believing a lot of these stories came from mythology and started realizing that mostly these were just horned animals that people were misunderstanding. But to wrap this all up, I will tell you that no one asked, but April 9th is National Unicorn Day.
Hell yeah. Mark the calendars.
That is really the research about like the basis of unicorns.
Applause.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. I learned so much about unicorns. Thank you.
Their healing properties.
Their healing properties, and that they might not be unicorns at all. They could be narwhals or rhinos or any horse.
Likely
or any cow.
Likely just rhinos and oxes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Really makes this the possibilities are now endless now that we can envision so many different types of unicorn.
We really can. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So we're back. The horn horse has his unicorn rested up against the swell of Jennifer's breast, and her reaction is Alizon.
What? She just knows the name?
This is, yes, just like he said, this is the name of the stallion.
His name's Alan?
Alizon.
No, it's Alan. It's Alan.
You can say whatever you want. I'm going to say Alizon because that's what she gasped out of her mouth when she realized that this is a unicorn / the man in her dream. Quote, the man from her dreams was real. Her stallion was a unicorn. The man was a unicorn.
Oh, I'm in a fluster of thoughts.
It's a lot. Look, a lot is happening. So now this unicorn is just going down on her, full stop. I'm gonna not include a whole lot of detail, but
wonderful.
But like all in oral is happening from this unicorn named Alizon. And for a second, Jennifer's like, Mom would be so alarmed if she saw a horse up my crotch. And then a voice tells her, I am no horse.
Ooh, snap.
Yeah. And so Alizon gets slightly offended and runs away at the fact that he has been called
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, that's a fragile ego because unicorns aren't not horses. But anyway, she's like, oh no, how embarrassing. So she's like, I gotta chase after her and find my unicorn lover. So she puts on a robe because she does have to know, does the unicorn turn into a man, and can I fuck this man?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, I think that's not even gonna stop her if he can't fully transform into a man.
Yeah, she's like, I just gotta find out. So she runs out of, and this is again, just so we're all on the same page, no longer a dream. This is IRL.
Okay, got it. In a robe. We didn't put on real clothes.
No time. So Jennifer runs out to the bar, all the while being like, I've never been as horny as Alizon makes me. Not even steamy sex scenes in movies or Brad Pitt or Tom Hardy or Channing Tatum, again, are as hot as Alizon, this unicorn.
Got it.
And those are 3 in-book references, Brad Pitt, Tom Hardy, and for a second time, Channing Tatum.
And making a second appearance, Channing Tatum.
You remember him from the first time. Channing Tatum Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. So she gets to the bar and she sees the unicorn and she's like, oh hot damn, this is my jam, but it feels wrong. And then a voice is like, it isn't wrong. And she looks, and now she is seeing both the unicorn and the man from her dream at the same time.
Okay.
So I had a very hard time using my Barney imagination to visualize the whole rest of this book. But for our sakes, I would envision a unicorn astral projecting the man form in front of him.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So it's nothing very solid, which gets talked about in like a second, but like I can only describe this as a unicorn is astral projecting a human in front of him so she can see both at the same time.
I want to believe that the unicorn's horn is a projector and it's just like shooting out a little Leia,
so
you're my only hope, Obi-Wan. And it's
that's especially funny for what I'm about to say next. So Alizon is like, TLDR, I am a unicorn. There are unicorns in the world just like there's horses. There's just very few of us, which makes Jennifer very sad. And so he's like, I need your help for my people vis-a-vis being my mayor and letting me fuck you and having foals and replenishing the unicorn population. It has to be you. You're a virgin. That's part of what's great about it, is that you're a virgin.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for a moment, Jennifer hesitates because she's like, but what about, I haven't even graduated from my high school yet. And what about after that? And
I can't be a teen mom.
No. And Alazan's like, what do you really plan on doing after schooling? Come live with me and my people. I got you. Like, forget about graduating high school. Forget about going to college. You're just going to have my babies and I will take care of you. Don't even worry about it. And like, sort of before this is consensual, but he's just kind of like, let me see your body. And she's like, all right, I'm already horny. So she takes her robe off.
Okay.
And she's naked. And so she is horny. And he, the man, is horny, and the unicorn behind him is pawing at the ground, all horny, and the guy is hard, and the unicorn is also hard. Okay. Quote, the vision of the man seemed impossible enough. How could the stallion even fit? And which one was the real one? They would find out.
Oh, I don't like where this is going.
So Alizar promised to be gentle when he breeds her. It's a lot of breed talk, so if that's your jam, congratulations. She be getting bred. He starts with oral again and then lays her down on a horse blanket. And she's like getting impatient because this has been going on. You know, first it was the sexy horse ride where she almost came and then didn't get to because that bitch Kelly called. And then there was trying to get off prior to falling asleep, but being like, I can't even think about Channing Tatum or Adam Levine because I just keep thinking about this horse, which kind of put her out of it. And there was this dream, and in this dream, it was also getting all horny again, but nothing crazy happened. So she's like getting frustrated about all of the teasing.
I'd like to remind everybody it's been less than 24 hours.
That's true. And so she's like, can we do this? And he's like, you got to be patient. So he calls her Sweetling a lot. So he's like, got to be patient, Sweetling. Sweetling, yeah. I need to make sure you're ready for breeding. He's got to make sure his Sweetling is ready for breeding.
I hate that.
It's something that's happening. So the closer they get to sex, the more confused her vision of the man and the unicorn become. So like sometimes both of them are sort of flickering in front of her, and then sometimes the man disappears for a little bit, then comes back, and then it's just like the unicorn. So again, maybe just the astral projecting is what I'm going with. And she gives him head, and it's a little confusing because she can see both dicks coming at her at once. Oh. And I think she gets the man version, but I honestly had a hard time telling whose dick it was. And it's fine, because after a little bit of head, Elazon's like, you're ready, let's breed.
I find it interesting, because I've run into this too when we've done some of these monster smut books and stuff too, where it's like, you are thinking so hard about the logistics sometimes of what they're doing that you're like, how does this happen? And I feel like they want to confuse you a little bit because they don't want to explain, like the author doesn't want to actually explain how this is going down. Right.
And she's straight up like, 2 dicks are coming at me. I don't know which one I'm about to get. For the next portion of what's about to happen, I simply have to quote the book.
Okay.
And so now know for reference that Alazon is behind Jennifer now.
No, which version? Both?
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Quote, glancing over her shoulder, she should have been distressed, as the image of the man was all but faded, the beast behind her. But Alazon had promised that he would be gentle, and for some reason, she believed him. If anything, she wanted him even more, equine or no. And so then he's like, so good for me, my beautiful one. I knew you were the perfect mate. And then we get, first one hoof, then another came up on either side of her head. The fur of his belly tickling against her back wasn't terrible. If anything, it was soothing. So,
no.
No,
I don't want to. No, thank you.
It's over. And then all of a sudden, just hoof on one side of your head, hoof on the other side of your head. I could have spit water out my mouth reading this. I wasn't ready for the hoofs.
There's so many times I've felt that way reading books where I'm like, I want to look at that camera, the hidden camera that's filming me, and be like, are you serious right now? This is what's happening?
This is what's happening.
I don't know, you guys. I think this might be the book that breaks me. Maybe this is, We never try and ick people's yum, but this is really getting to me how much I hate this.
So, yeah, we're sleeping with the unicorn. Jennifer's having a great time, even though it says that her uterus is being pounded and her breasts are swaying erratically. She cannot get these boobs under control. And I'm not telling her she has to. They're erratic and relentless.
That's how I'd name my boobs. One erratic, one relentless.
That's something I aspire to. Alizon's dick does something that I assume is a horse thing, which is flare up so that his semen can't escape when he comes. And he comes and we are all satisfied and we fall asleep in the barn. We're working at a clip now.
If they're spooning. That's what I want to know.
I may share on our Instagram later a diagram. Now, it's not correct because this is centaurs and not unicorns, but I recently saw a meme that was, how would a centaur big spoon?
Yes.
And I like thought about it in context.
I can already tell you, I know what the visual is.
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So we fall asleep in the barn and then it's like ellipses where it doesn't say epilogue, but basically we are now in an epilogue.
Okay.
So
okay.
Jennifer's mom wakes up and she's like, time to do some chores. It's early morning and we're on a ranch horse farm stuff. And her daughter's not in bed. She's like, that's strange.
I'm going to find them.
She's like, that's strange. Maybe they're outside. So mom goes out to take care of the horses and she notes, quote, something was unusual when she entered the barn. Every morning, the horses nickered at her in greeting and to tell her that they were hungry. But this morning, there was none of that. The barn was silent, which I can only assume is because all these regular horses saw her daughter get fucked by a unicorn and don't know what to do about it.
They're all absolutely shook, and they're like, oh, shit.
So we saw some shit last night.
We could use some therapy after
I'll
that.
never eat again. So yeah, mom looks around and she's like, weird. All of my horse blankets are all fucked up all over the place. And the new stallion's just sitting in a corner. I wonder what that's about. And so she does see Jenny asleep in the barn. But fortunately, Jenny is covered in a horse blanket. So her mom does not know that she's still naked. And basically, her mom is like, that's so cute. She fell asleep taking care of her horse because she loves this new horse so much. Unfortunately, I do need my daughter to help with some chores, so I'm going to try and wake her up. And when her mom steps to like wake up Jenny, Alizon stops her and like gives a spooky possessive look, which like, yikes, the mom is literally like, there was something in that look that scared her. But instead of doing any normal mom thing, like trying to get a large mad horse away from her sleeping daughter, she's just like, oh, all right, I guess she can sleep a little more, bye, and just kind of goes about her day.
That's so weird.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So Jenny keeps sleeping while Alizon watches her, and then we get this. Alizon watched her, opalescent eyes ever unchanging. Yes, his mare would help his people become strong again. This place would help the unicorns thrive once more. Already, he had ideas. The end.
He had ideas.
I do believe there's a second book.
Yes, I think there is. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Look, thank you for grazing over a lot of the anatomy elements of that because I probably would have thrown up. But also not a horse girl myself.
No, but are you a unicorn girl? Different.
Not really, but thank you. Wow. I'm gonna go try and scrub that from my brain.
Look, Tate, I loved it.
Tate, it was great. It just was not my cup of tea.
I fear that the ratings we give this won't reflect how much fun I had when I was reading it. I had a hilarious time. I had the best time. Great?
Most of the time when I'm reading these little short smut books, it's like, it's just fun. Mm-hmm. It's just a fun time.
Yes. So we will go through the score, but just know that I don't feel like the score is going to reflect the enjoyment I hope personally had, which was so much reading this incredible book. Sarah, do you want to even bother with diversity?
I am, because we deliberately made this girl white and blonde.
That's true.
And I'm going to give it an absolute 0.
Yeah. And also even the man version of this unicorn was alabaster.
Oh, yep. That'll do it.
Yeah, I'd also give it a a 0 out of 5 for diversity.
I'm totally messing with our doc that we're
No,
both
that's
looking
okay.
at.
Behind the scenes, I'm gonna make Sarah do the math because my brain doesn't do it.
That's fair. Plot.
How do you feel about the plot of this beautiful, beautiful book? The plot is
look.
The plot is new adult woman, uncertain of wanting to kind of follow the crowd of her friends by going to college, receives unique opportunity to do none of those things and follow her passion for horses by way of birthing unicorn babies.
Okay. Look, it has more of a plot than some of the other things we've read. I will give it a 3, I think. Okay, what are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it a 4, but it's less like this was a structured story that provided a lot of depth for me, and just that the whole premise of this made me really happy, and I had a lot of fun.
I'm so happy. So the smut, there was quite a bit of smut.
There is, I will say, it's pretty prevalent throughout. And I know that we're about to have a hard time because inherently what we say about this indicates that we enjoy being romanced by a unicorn. But I think if you could detach the unicorn of it all and just kind of go with the general pleasure of what's happening in the book, it's not so bad smut.
No, I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Honestly, I thought it was pretty legit. And then I have linked the cover of this beautiful book.
I've got it
for Sarah to look at, and please describe for us at your convenience.
There is a wonderful, I'm going to start with the background. There is like clouds and a field, but it's covered in an overlay of rainbow. So like a gradient lit rainbow. There is a very gallant looking unicorn. I want you to know everything about this screams. I just photoshopped some random stock images together, which is no offense, Tate. I know that this is probably what's expected. Absolutely. Like you got to do what you can do. And then there's a woman, a young woman on the front who is blonde and is wearing like a blue, I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah, I don't.
Her blue dress makes her look very fanciful.
I assume it's like a slip technically, or like some kind of a lingerie. Yeah. Also, a fair thing to note that her hair is not buck.
No. I was gonna say that. You stay in your fucking corner.
I'm so sorry. I'm not used to having this job. What's her hair look like?
Corner.
Tell me.
So she's blonde and her hair is curled, and she's got some really intense bangs happening. But it only comes like a little past her shoulders. So no, it is not butt length. But I will say, she also has like the most intense blue necklace on that's a little distracting. And then in the same, like it's like a blue purple-ish writing and the same cursive writing. It says Tate McKirk at the top, and then it says Broodmaiden of the Unicorn at the bottom. Yeah, I don't really know what more there is to say. I will say, now that I'm looking kind of closer towards our wonderful models, Tushy, there is like a little bit of like wisps. It almost could be hair. You know what I mean?
Oh, by her arm.
Yeah.
I think that might be the tail of the unicorn.
Oh, you're probably right. You're absolutely probably right.
Whose hair looks
hopeful.
Pretty soft.
I'm going to be honest. I love this cover.
I also love this cover.
I'm giving it a 4.
Yes, I am giving it a 4.5. The necklace, if nothing else, is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
No, the necklace is absolutely bonkers.
Also, I like that the woman on the cover has her hand on her face in a way that sort of looks like she's holding a phone in her hands, but she's not.
Oh, yeah. No. It's absolutely like a flip phone. This photo looks so not from this time. Like not even 2015. I don't feel confident. This was an early 2000s photo for sure.
Incredible. Sarah's going to magically math this and then we're going to do the final scores.
So I came out at 55% and you
Amazing.
came out at 62.5%.
Nice.
And I think what killed us was that diversity element. But
That's true.
look, it was a good, I don't even want to say that. I'm sorry. I really struggled with this one because everything that we have covered so far has had very, very clear human elements to it during the intercourse portion, except for the door.
True. That was
But
just a doorknob.
mostly everything else has been extremely human appearing. And so when we went to the bestiality point,
it blurred, didn't it? It kind of blurred those lines. What was your say smut moment of the book?
I think like the projecting, right? Like that's what it has to be. I can't imagine not having a clear concept of who I'm having intercourse with. Like, and one is it's not like between two people. It's like this is a human and this is a very large animal.
It's the one hoof, two hoof reveal for me, because really up to that point I was confused the whole time really about what dick she was really working with. And so I wasn't 100% sure how this part would go. And to have it revealed by hoof on either side of her head is so funny.
That is hilarious. I feel like that would be a really great reveal reading it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me. Sarah, where can people find us?
People can find us, if they so choose, on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Say Smut Podcast. Additionally, we'd love to hear your book recommendations. Send us those our way via email at saysmutpodcast.com, or sorry, saysmutpodcast@gmail.com. Also, we'd love for you to pop us an honest review. Don't be mean and do it because of the book. Don't do it because you hate us personally and you have a vendetta against us from the second grade that you've been holding all of this time and you're going to unleash onto these platforms. Do it because you actually feel this way about the podcast.
Take your vengeance elsewhere.
Yeah, take it elsewhere. But we have had a very interesting morning starting our day this way.
Thank you so much, Tate McKirk, for this incredible content.
McKirk. And hey, everybody, stay smutty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.